This episode of I've Had It is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.YEAH. Every time I use Booking.com to find a place to stay in the U.S., I know they'll have exactly what I'm looking for. They have a huge variety of options from hotels to vacation rentals, and I'm always able to find something that fits my specific needs. I found that Booking.com has something for everyone. Find exactly what you're booking for on Booking.com. Booking.YEAH. So are we supposed to start the podcast?
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Patriots, Gaytriots, Thaytriots.
Fuck off!
I mean, it's so good. You just got it nailed down. And I also see people in the comment section saying, I'm a black triot, which I love that.
Oh, that's great. Welcome.
That is such a good addition. And I think in Trump's America, this top DEI podcast, we are going to stand triple, quadruple to infinity with all of these marginalized people, minorities that this administration seeks to minimize and ridicule and be dismissive of. It's so gross.
Well, and it's so important for us to all band together because at the end of the day, none of us are white males.
That's true. That's a good point. None of it. Well, Seth is one of our producers.
Right, but he's not a billionaire, so sorry, you're out.
I want to say this about white males because whenever we beat up on them, I see in the comment section, there's a lot of white men.
That's true.
That watch our podcast or listen to our podcast that fight the good fight and have always fought the good fight and are feminists. Their masculinity isn't threatened by a drag queen. Their masculinity isn't threatened by gay people. And so there's a lot. I'm focused on these MAGA people.
Right.
That's just my focus. All right, Pumps, what have you had it with?
Okay, what I've had it with, and this happened to me twice last week, and it grosses me out so bad, is personal space invaders. People who get so close to you can feel their breath on your face when they talk. And I'm just like, I don't have to feel your breath on my face for me to hear you. It is way too close. I don't know if it's a lack of ability to gauge social cues, but when I'm up against the wall, like trying to get away from you, why are you still in my face? What do you think it is?
I think people lack self-awareness immensely. I was involved in a conversation the other day, and I kept giving closing statements to this woman. Great to see you.
Right.
And then she would take a step closer in and ask me a brand new question. This is somebody I don't really know. It's like at the pickleball courts, like, oh, hey, we always play at the same time, right? And she'd take a step in and then ask me an even more personal question. I would take a step back, answer the question in as few words as I could possibly pick, and then use another closing statement. Again, it's just so good to see you. And I would start to guide my body language in a different way. And another step in, another attack. And it's just, I think I've gotten to the place where I don't like personal space invaders or conversations.
Or people at large.
Exactly.
Just it's the whole human race now on a case-by-case basis.
Well, mine's adjacent to yours. And what we're talking about are basically boundaries. A personal space invader is a boundary violator. And I have to bring this up again. Pumps and I were talking about it before we came on air, and she said, you have to talk about it again. For our longtime listeners, you're going to know this grievance of mine, but it's been reignited, and I'm even more angry. Or is it angrier? I'm even angrier. I'm even angrier now than I have been about it in the past. So this building that we're in right now, I have my interior design studio downstairs, the podcast studio upstairs. This is not a retail space. It is an office space, a private office space. I don't sell riffraffs or knickknacks. You can't just walk in here on your own. You can't do it. So when I first bought the building, I didn't have any signage on the door directly, only like up on the side of the building. People would walk in and go, I'm looking for the spa. I'm looking for the Botox place. I'm looking for my lawyer. I'm looking for my stockbroker. And so we were just guiding people,
You were a tourist.
I was,
guider.
yeah. So I'd had it with that. So I call the sign people and I'm like, can you please put up Jennifer Welch Interior Design on the door so that when people get to the door, they see that it's my business in case they miss the large sign on the building. They put that up. Absolutely zero movement in the ambush attacks on this space. So then I escalate and I have a printed sign from a computer, and the aesthetics of this really bother me, but I'm desperate, right? So it says stop in bold and cap locks with exclamation points in red font.
I was just going to say, it's important to remember this is bright red font.
And these letters that say stop, you guys, are 4 inches. One S is 4 inches long. Stop. Do not enter. This is Jennifer Welch Designs, open by appointment only. And then at the end, it says stop again with more exclamation points. So after instituting this 2-pronged attack on the door, protection, these boundaries, I still get stragglers. Oh, I'm looking for the spa. I have a facial today. And I get so triggered when somebody walks in the door because in my mind, I'm like, you see that it says Jennifer Welch Designs. You see a sign that says stop. You see a sign that tells you the name of the business, do not enter, and then to stop again. And just 48 hours ago, we're up here and I hear some idle chit chat downstairs. Somebody comes barreling through the door as loud as all get out that has arrived at Jennifer Welch Designs / I've Had It podcast recording studios for their Botox. Uh-huh. She's screaming at the top of her lungs. I'm looking for the Botox clinic. And I'm sitting up here and I am just getting madder and madder and madder because I'm going through just the sense of entitlement and that this woman thinks the rules don't apply to her, that she can just enter regardless of it saying stop. She knows she doesn't have an interior design appointment. She knows she's not a guest on the podcast. Why the fuck did she open the door and come in here? And then act like we're the assholes when we're not the Botox spa. And I'm telling you guys, the stupidity of people that think the entire world is designed for them, for everybody in it to assist them, that they can't self-troubleshoot. It's staggering. And it all starts at that door to my office. And it makes me so goddamn mad. I've called a tech person and I'm going to get a lock installed on that door with a camera and a buzzer system and fob locks. I'm going to put an end to it once and for all because I do not want this riffraff coming in here for their Botox or for their facial or to meet with their goddamn lawyer, moseying in, asking us questions that we don't want to answer that they could have answered themselves if they would have read the fucking sign before they walked in the door. I have had it with this. And so I'm telling you, I'm going to put a kryptonite style lock on that door.
Okay, so I have to set the scene for y'all. So we're sitting here and she goes, is somebody here? And I was like, yeah, it sounds like somebody's here. Sometimes it might be like the UPS guy or whatever. And all I hear is Botox. This woman to my right, her head spins 360 degrees around. Her ass is out of that chair. And she's like, they fucking came in that office. They should have seen the sign. I mean, she is so mad. Of course, all I can do is bust out laughing because she is madder than a hornet. And I mean, this happened 48 hours ago. I was still driving in today and I got so tickled because she was so mad. I mean, it was, and this has been an ongoing grievance. This is like 1,000 little paper cuts.
It is.
But it was, I mean, your reaction, it was like, remember that time on the plane I said, Jenny's going to blow? And sure enough, you blew.
Yeah.
You were this close to going down and having her arrested for trespass.
Let's think about the psychology of this, though. This is what I think about, okay? The sign says that it's not a Botox spa, that it's not a lawyer's office, that it's not a spa that you can get a facial in, that it's not your stockbroker's office, right? It says Jennifer Welch Interior Design. That's not enough for these fuckers. So then I have to print a very unaesthetic sign.
Goes against everything.
Tape it to the door and use large, red, tacky font with exclamation points in bold print This person sees both of those things because I have the printed sign at eye level.
Right.
Which part of my interior design training is to do that, hang stuff at eye level. So I have that thing hung at eye level. And despite both of these warning signs, the entitlement to still waltz in and scream at the top of your lungs when it says by appointment only. And it's not just her.
No.
It's been a parade of people. And I'm going to go on the permanent record and state the following. I'm 100% sure they're all MAGA.
100%.
I'm sure that they host gender reveal parties.
Yes.
I'm sure that they're very active on Facebook.
Of course.
And there's no question, had I gone downstairs to see this person with my own eyes, she would have had a Stanley Cup in her hand, and probably one of those Stanley Cups with a little snack attachment for a bunch of just shit on there.
Like a Stanley Cup purse.
And here's the thing, like this might not seem like that big of a deal. And everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe y'all are talking about this petty stuff when democracy's on fire. And we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Right. We can bitch about Trump as we do on our other podcast 3 times a day. But I think that this Trumpism has exacerbated my frustration with people who cannot read and understand basic facts. I think that her inability to deduce that this wasn't the Botox spa is right in line with MAGA thinking.
Well, obviously there's no accountability in MAGA. So she walks in here, she doesn't give a shit.
She immediately denied the fact. It said, stop, do not enter. Jennifer Welch Designs, by appointment only. Fact, 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 fact. Disregards all the facts and waltzes right on in here for us to inject her with Botox. And that's breathtaking stupidity.
Yeah, it's a lot of things. Lack of self-awareness, entitlement, stupidity.
Failure to acknowledge boundaries, failure to acknowledge facts, failure to read, failure to comprehend what you're reading, failure to follow instructions, failure to follow rules, failure to be a decent person, failure to be an adult, an absolute abject fucking failure. These fucking people are. I wish I had a list of every single one of them. You guys, one time we were on the Today Show, and in the elevator at 30 Rock, they have pictures of people that are not allowed in the building. Do you remember that? So It was like, this person's a psycho and he's stalking a person that works in the building. And there's like 10 pictures. I think what I'm going to do now, until I get the lock installed, is I'm going to, Kylie, Seth, Adriana, you or me, whoever comes in, I'm going to say, hang on 1 second before I answer your question. Get a photograph of them. And then we'll start posting their pictures. Because if I'm going to not have any aesthetic on the front door, it's just going to look like a goddamn flea market. Let's just go all chips in. So I'll take her picture. What's your name? Jane Doe. And then I'll print it up and I'll put, this moron can't read, therefore she's not allowed to come in this building. And I'll just start publicly shaming them.
How about people that are not smart enough to enter this building?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or too entitled to enter the building. I just would never, in 10 trillion years, enter into a space that said, stop, do not enter.
Here's the thing about it. I used to think that I would, but with the, I would just go in, like if I'm not paying attention, I just looked up and I wasn't paying attention where I was going, I would look in the building. But I also think the eye level would catch me. Like my hand might be on the door.
It's right
and
by
then
the door.
Stop.
It says stop.
Bright red.
Right where your hand, it's in the sight line where your hand goes and grabs the handle to the door. It's
you
an
cannot miss it.
impossibility that you don't see the word stop, do not enter.
Right.
By design. So the people that have entered here are the dumbest motherfuckers this city has to offer.
And I'm putting my friends,
I'm putting
a low bar.
I'm putting an end to it.
Yeah. So are we going to have like Face ID to get in the building now? I'm kind of excited about
whatever is the most aggressive form of security I can have for that door is what I'm ordering.
Okay, good.
Fingerprint, iris, something.
Ooh,
I don't know what it is, but I can't take it anymore. I can't. And the dogs used to come up here, and then the dogs would go bananas, and then I got in a fight with that one lady that one time, and it brings out the worst in me.
But it brings out, I get so tickled.
I know.
I mean, it makes me laugh so hard.
I know. I'm here to entertain.
That's right. You're here for my pleasure.
Okay. Welcome to I've Had It. I'm Jennifer.
I'm Angie, HBIC, Head Beaver in Charge.
America's Top DEI podcast coming at you right now. Do not come to our building. Do not come here. Do not sit with us. Do not come to this building. Kylie.
Hi.
Hi. What do you have today?
First off, I want to say the lady yesterday.
Yeah.
I can still see her in my head. If we want to do like a sketch artist.
Oh, I like that.
I know exactly what she looks like.
And then we could find her
Let me
on
ask
social
you
media.
this. Did she seem like she was an idiot?
100%. She also was, like you said, mad at me. And like I owed her instructions and to walk her to the building she's looking for.
That's
What?
yes. This is why I'm so irritated, because when I'm downstairs and they come in, I go to the door and I say, it's around the corner. This is an interior design studio. We're open by appointment. And then they are mad at me. And they're like, well, where is it around the corner? And I'm like, you just walk around the corner. It's not this building. Well, what do you mean? Is it right behind you? And they are
just won't stop.
argumentative and act like you're the asshole. People that violate that type of boundary that's put on a door that come in, they're provocateurs. They are. These are January 6ers. This is my January 6th.
Right here.
Yeah, they're coming in, they're invading. And like Kylie said, thank God I wasn't down there because
It would have been over. I mean,
I think if she would have been mad at me, how am I the fucking asshole when you didn't read the sign and you come in here and you think we're supposed to stop our work to escort you to your Botox appointment? You entitled twat. That's what I would say to her.
do you know how happy that would have made
Yeah,
me?
I'll let you do it like Instagram Live if it happens before the lock comes.
Oh, okay. Well, I can just perch up there and wait.
Yeah, you can just sit at the front desk.
I could hire somebody to do it.
Yeah, well, they're going to get it.
They're going to get it.
But it has to be real. It has to be authentic. We don't
Yeah,
wanna
it's not as
stage it.
fun.
All right, Kylie.
Okay, I've got some reviews for you today. This one is 5 stars titled Get Better Soon. And she writes, I think it's time we all send DJT and his entire cabinet Get Better Soon cards. Not because they're sick, but because they need to get better at their motherfucking job and soon. Thank you both for being the unfiltered therapy we didn't have to copay for.
I think she's too generous.
I do too. I do not think that they can get better at their jobs. I don't think it's possible because I think if you look at what the point of their job is, which is to propagandize the public and dismantle democracy, they're really quite good at that.
Right. Keeping their lips firmly on Trump's ass. They're good at that too.
Mm-hmm.
Leaking war plans. They're great at that. So I think she's too generous. Although I love the co-therapy, no copay comment.
Okay, this one is 5 stars titled Baptized by a Beaver. And they write, for anyone who's looking for a holy connection to a podcast that will change the trajectory of your life, keep looking. This lesbian podcast teaches you how to keep your husky clean, raw dog in Florida, and after you join the cult, you may be baptized by a beaver. The older lesbian couple is slow due to their old age, but the senior citizen home director, Kelly, is paid well and makes sure they have their meds cacaw.
How much do you love that?
I love all of the transposing of everybody's names. I mean, because if somebody is new to this podcast, they would be like, who's Kelly? Who's Jessica?
What's the beaver?
Yeah, it's just the evolution of all of the names, from Kathy, now Kelly. Sometimes I call her Katerina. It's good. All of your nicknames.
You know what I had forgotten about, and I'm so happy to be reminded of the raw dogging in Florida.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was such a great one.
That's Olivia was the creator of that visual. Okay, I have some news that I'd like to share with the class today. In Japan, you can hire someone to apologize for you. In Japan, where apologizing is deeply ingrained in the culture, professional apology services exist to help individuals express regret. And what I have to say about this is I'm very disappointed because part of apologizing is cathartic.
Yes.
Is feeling the fuck up, tucking your tail between your legs, and purging your wrongs as a means to then evolve as an individual. And I think hiring someone to apologize for you is skirting And I think it's chicken shit.
Yeah, I think it's chicken shit too. And a lot of times, I think the person needs to see, like, if I fuck up really bad, I want them to see I'm in distress over this. I hurt your feelings and I feel bad about it. And so I think the other person needs to feel the regret that you have. And I just think an impartial, non-emotional apology, I just don't think it kind of reminds me of MAGA, like no accountability. Like you fuck up, you make an unmitigated apology, you take your medicine. That's just how it works.
All right. Next up, we have a study shows it's almost 2 times cheaper to have a son than to have a daughter. A study suggests that raising a son is nearly twice as cheap as raising a daughter, largely due to differences in spending on clothing, personal care, and extracurricular activities. And as the mother of 2 boys, I can say I think this is 100% true because my boys don't really ask me for that much.
Girls are just more expensive. Like once you have to get the face stuff, the makeup, the products, all that shit. Plus, girls keep you humble. There's nothing like a girl just to make you feel humble. Like when you walk out and Emily's like, Mom, you look so old. You know what I mean? Like girls keep you humble and they're the most expensive. It is the least bang for your buck that you're going to get.
Wow. And I do think there is a deeper thing here that it is more expensive to be a woman.
I agree.
And, you know, we have a lot more emphasis put on our outfits, more emphasis put on our skincare, hair, shoes, clothes, makeup, etc., because our appearances are picked from the minute we wake up to the minute we go to bed. And even like you told me, your daughter's criticizing your appearance. Even within women,
right,
we're very cruel to one another about each other's appearances. And I think that as women, we need to do better about that.
No, I agree. Completely agree.
Okay. Last news story is the honeymoon phase of a relationship usually lasts between 6 months to 2 years. This period is fueled by dopamine and oxytocin, the brain's feel-good chemicals, which create a sense of euphoria and deep attraction. Partners often overlook flaws, conflicts feel minor, and spending time together feels effortless and exciting. And you know, I remember back in those days when you're the best version of yourself,
right?
And you're dating the best version of that person. You're dating each other's representatives.
Right.
And I think 2 years is generous there. But I also wonder, like, how Trumpism has lasted 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, they seem like they're still in the honeymoon phase. I've never seen, like, the way they love him. And his mental acuity seems to be on great decline. The rambling speeches are not as entertaining as they once used to be. I used to be able to kind of laugh at stupid shit he says. Now I'm just like, God, he's such a fucking idiot. And they just love him so hard.
Yeah, well, I think that's because it's a cult and he's the cult leader. Yeah. But I remember the days when, I mean, love is like a drug. You're so hyped up and excited. But 2 years, like you, I think that seems long.
I think that's generous. All right, listen, we have a very exciting guest today. His name is Cameron Kasky, and he is the host of the Bulwark's For You pod. Let's welcome Cameron to I've Had It. This episode of I've Had It is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.YEAH. Every time I use Booking.com, I find a place to stay in the U.S. I know they'll have exactly what I'm looking for. They have a huge variety of options from hotels to vacation rentals, and I'm always able to find something that fits my specific needs. I found that Booking.com has something for everyone. Recently, I took my oldest son and his girlfriend to New York City. They wanted to stay in Soho. Through Booking.com, I was able to find the perfect hotel for us.
What I like about Booking.com is I can find a great vacation rental where my kids and I both have our own space and we have a common area to enjoy, so we don't get sick of each other.
Listener, no matter who you are, Booking.com helps you find the stay that's ridiculously right for you. Find exactly what you're booking for on Booking.com, Booking.YEAH. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Listener, I'm going to tell you, I've had some rough days this year, and I don't know that I could get up and get in front of this microphone 3 and 4 times a day if I didn't reset once or twice a month with help from my therapist from BetterHelp.
What I love about my BetterHelp therapist is it's completely tailored around my schedule. I can do it from my home where I'm not inhibited at all. I don't have to wait in line, and I can absolutely be myself.
Not to mention all of those perks, it's also more affordable. Traditional in-person therapy can cost anywhere from $100 to $250 per session. All of that adds up fast, but with BetterHelp online therapy, you can save on average up to 50% per session. Listener, your well-being is worth it. Visit betterhelp.com/hadit to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/hadit. Let's welcome the host of the Bulwark's For You pod, Cameron Kasky. Cameron, how are you today?
Oh, I'm good. Another great day in New York. In what seems to be soon to be a recession, but that's okay. I'm 24, so I can only lose so much money because I don't have that much invested anyway. So I look at the stock market and I'm like, well, I wasn't even really a part of that.
Well, before we dive, just deep into some cathartic Trump bashing, we do like to tend to petty grievances and ask our guests what they've had it with. So Cameron, what have you had it with that is non-Trump related?
Oh, so much. You're speaking to a Jewish person who grew up watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. So petty
My favorite
grievances.
show on the planet.
Yeah,
I have a framed picture of Larry David on my work desk and not of my children. I cannot tell you that this means that we're immediately connected, bonded for life.
You know, it's funny. I actually had a rapper named Snacks da Hip Hopper living on my couch rent free for 6 months. And at one point I was like, oh, we're Larry and Leon. So I asked him if he had ever watched Curb, and he said no. And we ended up going on like a Leon binge together. We were just cracking up. But I'll tell you one thing I've had it with. I have had it with the way people will just not text somebody back, even though they are obviously looking at their phones. That really upsets me. Here's the most Gen Z experience I've had in my entire life. Yesterday, I was waiting for a friend of mine who I really like talking to text me back. I sent a regular text, one that absolutely warrants a response, and she hadn't texted me back all day, but she commented on one of my Instagram posts. And I was like, okay, listen, I don't want to be a nitpicker here, but you'll comment on my posts and you won't write me back to a very simple prompt. I've had it with that.
You know what? I think we need to be nitpickers. I think we need to start regulating this shit. And I used to think, no, let's not. But we just covered a story that apparently Gen Z is upset about the thumbs up emoji and they consider it to be passive aggressive. And I'm like, you know what? Little titty babies, here's the deal. You need to learn how to be passive aggressive. It's a tool in your toolbox that you can roll out when you want to be petty and you want to be passive aggressive. It is a fantastic thing to do to people when you just kind of want to fuck with them. And that's okay to want to fuck with people a little bit. It's not like Gen Z, I think, they think everything has to be perfect all the time and everything has to be cupcakes and rainbows and unicorns, and these power moms have enabled it. And I blame the moms more than Gen Z. But I do think Gen Z needs us to nitpick them a little bit. I think it would be beneficial.
I mean, look, I can't complain too hard because every time I can think of myself sending the thumbs up emoji, it has been with the intent of passive aggression.
Exactly. You're ahead.
Especially when, so I'm I like punctuality. I am in most of my friend groups, the planner, and I get it. I'm the outgoing one. A lot of friend groups are kind of held together by me, keeping everyone. So I understand why, the lion's share of planning has been put in front of me. But when somebody's late and they text me, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Thumbs up. That's my way of saying, fuck you.
See, and I think it's a great tool to have in our toolbox. I don't think we need to be upset about that because sometimes I'm worthy. My behavior is worthy of a passive aggressive fuck you. And I need to sit there.
Is that your guys' go-to passive aggressive text too as well? Or do you have an emoji or perhaps?
See, my passive aggressive is I don't respond. I just leave it forever and ever. Okay, Cameron, as Gen Z, I want to ask you this. What about when you're texting with someone and you see the bubbles that they're going to text you back and then they never respond. What do you think about that? See, that makes me insane.
God. Yeah, because you don't want to text them like, hey, I was monitoring our texts and I saw that you had a bubble coming up and it went away. What the fuck were you going to say to me? You don't want to seem like some sort of hypervigilant stalker freak. And then there's always the chance that they read your text and like their finger slipped and they accidentally typed LTJ and everything. And that's why there was a typing bubble and then it went away. But no, fuck that. They were 100% saying something and taking it back. Normally, when I start to scribe a text message and I want to go back and delete it, I, with a keen awareness that they probably saw me typing, replace it with something. But even then, when you see the typing bubble come up and then you see it go away, and then you see a new typing bubble emerge, you want to be like, okay, what the fuck were you going to say?
Just say it.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I was just writing somebody a text the other day, kind of a confrontational text. And then I decided, you know what? I'm not going to send this. I'm not going to send this text. And I just went back, spaced it up. And then I was able to walk away with that with a sociopathic feeling like it's none of your business what I was going to say. You're never going to know. And I hope that that occupies space in your brain forever.
And look, there's a difference between like, it's so funny. There's a difference between not texting somebody back because there's some sort of interpersonal discrepancy between the two of you, where sometimes not saying something is the mature thing to do. Sometimes sending the text message, you'd be saying something you wish you could take back. But then it's like when we're making plans and I say something, a non-response is not equal to an okay, sounds good. Send the fucking okay, sounds good. And I'm an anxious person. I have very bad anxiety. It manifests in macro and micro ways. And when somebody isn't texting me back from something, I ask myself if they're mad at me. So I always text people back, even when I don't necessarily need to. Because there's something called the golden rule that a lot of people across generations have seemingly forgotten. Right. And I want to make sure that nobody's wondering what I had to say other than, okay, sounds like a plan. But you know what? I have really fucking had it with that. We need to make a spinoff show called I've Really Fucking Had It.
Yeah.
Just so we could talk about text etiquette.
Okay, let's move on to Gen Z and their relationship with MAGA. This week on our other podcast, I Have News, we shared some polling that during the election, Gen Z was +5 for Trump. And now he's lost, I think it's like the mid-20s. He's minus 20 something with Gen Z. So completely underwater. But let's go back to pre-Trump 2.0. Like during the election, you've got this woman who, I have Gen Z kids, and I'm always so happy when I hear them talk about their gay friends or queer friends or trans friends or friends of color, and how protective and accepting they are of these groups. And so I was really shocked to see that it's +5 before the election for Trump with Gen Z. That really, really surprised me. So I'm wondering what kind of insight you had.
I think what happened, I think there's kind of two big things here, although there's so many factors. I think number one, Trump was able to inspire fear more than Kamala was able to cultivate a sense of hope. So I think that's a broader issue. In terms of Gen Z, Gen Z men were a huge phenomenon in this election. They really took people by surprise. They even took me by surprise, which when I look back, I don't think, how could this have happened? I think, how couldn't I see this all along? And I think it speaks to, I think the primary issue with young men is that young men feel left out by the Democratic Party and by the progressive movement, because the Republicans have been able to hijack the messaging and convince us that steps forward taken towards anything resembling equity for women and minorities are steps that are taken at our expense, right? When DEI programs are initiated, when women are able to have more systems of support when they're talking about sexual abuse, when these things happen, we're the ones paying for it. So the right says to these young men, you have a place at the table for us. You know, you're getting left out by the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is no longer, you know, supporting the country of white men. And it was all men, but especially white men in this generation. And what the Democratic Party failed to do was communicate to young men. I mean, there was no effort put into reaching out to young men, because I think the Democratic Party felt they felt like the Gen Z votes were a shoo-in. So we're not going to go out and try to get them. And they were focused on chasing the Liz Cheney moderate Republicans, which is
That
just
pissed
not a
me
substantial
off.
group.
That pissed me off right there. I was all chips in, Brat, Kamala, the whole nine. And then this is what pisses me off about Democrats. What Liz Cheney did is not that remarkable. She saw an authoritarian that's a liar, and she called it out as such. That is what should be the bar for everybody. But Democrats are so like, oh my God, Liz Cheney loves us. What Liz Cheney did to participate in the manifestation of MAGA is she went around and voted with him 90% of the time. She stood in front of cameras and said, babies are killed after they're born in post-birth abortions, which is a lie, which feeds these crazy, depraved, crazy Christians in America. And then she's able to deduce this guy is dangerous. This guy is bad, and speak out about it. And then we have to trot around with her. And I'm just like, this is the biggest exercise in futility. We live in Oklahoma. We live in a red state. These fuckers are never going to vote for you ever. So quit trying to court them. They're never going to vote for you. I told Pumps, we were sitting here, I said, I can't believe she's trotting around with Liz Cheney. That's when, of course, I voted for her. And I think I love Kamala Harris. I miss her being on the campaign trail. I miss the things that she said. I have nostalgia thinking back about it. But that to me is a grave error when the Democrats say, oh, we're going to run to the center. We're going to run to the center. I think it's completely wrong. I think we need to swing total left and fight for everybody, especially juxtaposing equality for all against the billionaires are the only people that want the power. And I just think it's a huge messaging problem for Democrats to always try to find these elusive Republicans that like us.
I call them the Democratic Party's imaginary friends. And look, there are real people like this. But the thing is, it's not a substantial group of voters, whereas the people who don't show up to the polls because they don't have anything that they think is inspiring them to vote, that is a substantial group of voters. And certain issues, the Democratic Party doesn't address, but they are intersectional. You know, talking about economic inequality, but actually nailing down that messaging, talking about healthcare, those are things that have been proven to be popular and the types of things that can mobilize voters that otherwise aren't going to show up. But the party doesn't want to talk about the oligarchs. They don't want to talk about the billionaires because those are often the people who are writing them their checks.
Yeah, right.
So it's really disappointing. And I think that, you know, when you see 30,000 people show up to these Bernie and AOC rallies in swing states, even people I know who consider them way to the left of them, they're saying, oh, this is what leadership looks like. The Democratic Party has one thing going for them. The culture wars, we lost. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But the point is, while the Democratic Party is engaging in these culture wars about political correctness, whether or not it's good and everything, we are ignoring the intersectional issues that affect everybody and the types of issues that young men would actually go and vote for. If the campaign put the energy into saying, Trump is going to crash the economy for his billionaire friends, here's how he's going to do it, here's why we aren't, there would have been a very different turnout than Harris trying to frame herself as the new progressive thing, but also saying, but don't worry, we're also going to be kind of like center left, and we're going to be right wing enough for Liz Cheney, but we're also super progressive and new. It was just, they were trying to have their cake and eat it too, and it was really disappointing.
As a working mom, and I'm talking about being a working dog mom, sometimes making it to the pet store to get my little darlings, all of the things that make their lives complete is just, I run out of time during the day. That's why Chewy has been the best friend of me, a busy working dog mom of two, to make sure that my little smush face French bulldogs have all of the things that make their life happy.
What's so great about Chewy is you can do telehealth vet visits, you can get prescriptions, and you can get toys and food. I mean, it's a one-stop shop.
Yeah, the Chewy's auto ship feature, I'm never getting that I'm so disappointed in you look that my dogs give me, because that is a devastating look. Everything's just shipped straight to my door. I have it timed out perfectly. Listener, Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. And right now you can save $20 on your first order and get free shipping by going to chewy.com/hadit. That's chewy.com/hadit to save $20 on your first order with free shipping. Chewy.com/hadit. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details. Some might say Homes.com is the best home shopping site. Could it be because it has a sleek, spam-free site? Or the most in-depth school info? Homes.com knows every parent wants the best for their kids, so they're the only ones with school and district details and reviews from multiple sources, including niche. It may be Homes.com's super comprehensive and transparent agent directory, or maybe it's that Homes.com is the only site that always directly connects you with the listing agent who knows the home best. Perhaps it's because Homes.com has the most in-depth neighborhood content of any home shopping site that's extensively researched to highlight the personality of each neighborhood. Homes.com has 22 data visualization layers, 7 environmental layers, and allows you to search by commute and architectural factors. It's the home search you've been searching for. Go to Homes.com today for home shopping the way it should be. Homes.com, we've done your homework. I would push back a little bit on you and say that we lost the culture wars, because I'm old enough to remember when George W. Bush was running against John Kerry. Karl Rove rolled out the gay marriage amendment on ballots. And, you know, just 10 years later, we had gay marriage legalized all over the country in a Supreme Court ruling. And what I think Democrats should have done, here's at the end of the day, the people that talk about trans people the most are not liberals. They're weird MAGA people that are completely consumed with trans people and gay sex. And I think we should have put the mirror on them and said, why are y'all always talking about kids' genitals? It's fucking weird. Why are you guys always talking about gay people having sex? It's really fucking weird. Why don't y'all worry about your own sex lives? And we never push back. And I think that Democrats just need to take the gloves off, grow some fangs and some claws, and just start bullying the fuck out of MAGA. I think we need to one political cycle run on just kind of being dicks and see what happens. But dicks that always vote for everybody to have rights, but dicks to these fascists and to these people that don't support equality. And I'm just so sick of the Democrats always having to be on the high road and not calling them out and defending, well, there's only less than 1% of the population of trans people, instead of like, you're a fucking weirdo. Why are you so obsessed with trans people? What's going on there? And then, I mean, I think they would just get flustered. And it's just, I don't know. It's just hard living in Trump's America. It drives me crazy.
Listen, you're never going to hear me advocating against being a dick. That is my MO. I'm here to do that all day.
Okay, I want to move on to our game, Had It or Hit It. Oh my God. Welcome to Had It or Hit It. I would hit it. Had it. I hit it every day, sometimes twice a day. Had it or hit it, TikTok trends.
Had it.
Really?
I don't do that shit. When my friends send me TikToks, I don't click on them.
Ooh, that's passive aggressive.
Okay, had it or hit it, menu anxiety.
Had it, but guilty.
Really?
Look, candidly, I normally just order whatever the cheapest thing is, but definitely, but had it, ultimately had it.
Okay, all right. Had it or hit it, mega churches.
I mean, like just a Ponzi scheme. Like I can't even say that I've had it because it was never a thing for me in the first place. The whole time, even when I was like 7 years old, I was like, is this what they're doing now?
Okay. Last one. Had it or hit it. Katy Perry going to outer space.
I'll raise you one. I've had it with everybody going to outer space. We don't have to go to outer space right now. We have other problems.
We have bigger problems on Earth in the United States than we have on Mars, in my opinion. It drives me fucking crazy.
I think the rocket thing is Freudian. You know, I do. I think Freud was right about a lot of this stuff. You don't see women. There's a lot of billionaire women. You don't see them trying to build a rocket ship that's shaped like a penis and blast off. They own the Atlantic, or Melinda Gates has a foundation. They are fighting for democracy. Even Christy Walton of Walmart takes out a full-page ad in the New York Times to try to fight for democracy. You don't see women building penis ships. You just don't see it.
No, that you don't. And I don't know if I would be any better or less of a, Sigmund Freud child if I were a billionaire, because I'm anything but. But penis rockets, I could see that being Freudian. I think that all of those, big billionaires that you hear about in the news have something going on in their head, because there's all these billionaires who you never hear about. And it's because they're not doing crazy, insane shit. The billionaires you hear about are normally the ones who are acting out and being insane people.
I know. They're really naughty.
Or they're running the Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, fighting with their baby mamas on Twitter. I mean, it's fucking crazy.
Alas, what can we do except for strive our hardest to be billionaires ourselves and be the good one?
Billionaires for good. Yeah. I mean, I just think we need to give them all trophies and say, like, a big penis trophy. Right. Congratulations. You crushed capitalism. You did such a good job. Now we're going to let you keep $3 billion. You're never going to spend it all. We're going to take the rest and try to do something positive with it. But of course that would never happen, because in America, people value money over human beings.
Well, and you'd have to tell Elon his dick was bigger than Jeff Bezos, and Jeff Bezos, his dick was bigger than Elon Musk. So then their little rocket feud could subside a little bit.
Or we can do sort of a reverse psychology thing and be like, hey, Elon and Jeff Bezos, we actually love this whole space thing that you're doing. Just stay up there.
Right.
Don't come back down. Go find out if David Bowie was right when he said there was life on Mars. Oh, I guess he was only asking. He was saying, is there life on Mars? Never in his song did he assert that there was life on Mars. So I take that back. I'm sorry to the memory of David Bowie.
Okay. It has been so fun having you on. And listener, you can go find Cameron at the Bulwarks For You pod. Thank you so much, Cameron, for coming on and sharing your grievances. And I love that we both share a love for Larry David that will unite us to death.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye, Cameron.
Take care.
I'm just going to go out on a limb, and I'm just going to say at 24, I was not that smart.
No, he's very, very smart, very well spoken.
All the things.
Self-aware.
Very.
I think he's doing good things. That makes me have hope in Gen Z. But I think I had a really weird lens of Gen Z because my boys are so open-minded. I didn't realize how fucked up Gen Z boys had become. And so I'm happy to see kids like Cameron that are helping right the ship with that generation.
Absolutely, because the Democrats democracy in general needs better messaging. And he is a great messenger, and hopefully he can fill the gap.
Very much. Okay, everybody, please subscribe to our show. Leave us a comment, buy our merch, and we'll see you all. Pumps tell them.
We will see you next Tuesday and Thursday.
Listen up, patriots, gaytriots, and natriots. We have a new podcast that has dropped. It's called iHip News. It's Monday through Friday, every day, 15 to 20-minute hot takes on the political landscape of the United States of America, always served with a side of petty grievances.
We are on all the available platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever you get your podcasts, and YouTube.
Please go rate, subscribe, and review so that we will chart upwards with America's greatest legal mind. Pumps, what does an eagle say?
Caw-caw.
A little bit more enthusiasm.
Caw-caw.
That's it. That's
caw-caw.
That's the patriotism that this country needs right there.